Yilinger stopped Fan Ruoro and wanted Fan Xian to come out for and talk with Lin Wanner. Ruoro was anxious in her heart, but her face was calm and wanted to refuse on the grounds that Fan Xian was ill. Lin Wanner also came forward to invite Fan Xian to get out of the carriage. Fortunately, Fan Xian had an idea at this time, and lied that it was inconvenient for him to take out as there was a girl who sang songs just now on the carriage. Yilinger was very angry when she saw Fan Xian's rogue appearance, and Lin Wanner was even more angry and vomited blood. Yilinger was worried about Lin Wanner's health and had to take her away first. Fan Xian didn't know anything about what was happening. He walked leisurely into the inspection institute with the candied Haas in his hand. Unexpectedly, when he arrived at the inspection institute, the people inside went in and out, but no one paid any attention to Fan Xian. He had to take out his waist badge and shout to attract a few messengers. After some inspection, one of the messengers took him to find the dossier. The two walked all the way, and they met Wang Qingyan again, who was also a clerk of the inspection institute. When Wang Qingyan learned that he was the tiz of the inspection institute, he knelt down suddenly, wept bitterly, and recounted his tragic experiences, indicating that his previous actions were all for the seriously ill wife and daughter at home. Fan Xian saw him burst into tears, and was doubting the letter when a guard suddenly pushed the door and came in, saying that he had met Wang Qingyan's wife just now and asked him to remember to buy vegetables to home at night. Wang Qingyan didn't expect the lie to be easily exposed, so he looked at Fan awkwardly and felt a little helpless. Fan Xian was also ironic when he saw this. He saw that Wang Qingyan was so fond of accumulating money, and he had similar interests with Fan Xishi. He just told him not to do business of selling the book Red Mansion anymore, and asked him to help find the document Teng Zijing asked for. Wang Qingyan promised to send the file to Fan's house the next day, and also told him that the person who falsely passed the order was dead, and that person's name was Su Yunjiang. After finishing the business, Fan Xian went to look at the stone tablet left by his mother, which recorded Yi Qingmei's good wishes for the world. She hoped that one day everyone would be equal, no longer oppressed by power, and live with dignity. Fan Xian understood the reason for Yi Qingmei's death when he saw what she left behind, but he didn't want to inherit her last wish. He didn't want to fight against the world by himself, but wanted to be an ordinary person. Unico told Emperor Qing that Fan Xian went to the Inspection Institute to collect the dossier. Emperor Qing knew that Teng Zijing was not dead. He didn't care about this deception, but he cared more about how many fish he could catch with Fan Xian as the bait. The Prime Minister Lin learned that Fan Xian had beaten Guobaoquan's servants in the street, so he took the opportunity to visit Emperor Qing and wanted to dissolve Lin Wanner's engagement. Emperor Qing, until his intention to come, deliberately let Eunuch Ho set the furnace in the hall to flourish. Minister Lin euphemistically said that Wanner's marriage contract was in the hands of Emperor Qing. He believed that Emperor Qing would not see the wrong person, so he said goodbye and left. On the other hand, the Crown Prince told Guobaoquan that this poetry meeting was a good opportunity to frame Fan Xian. Fan Xian was born in remote Danzhou, and he had no one to teach himself since he was a child. Minister Lin naturally would not agree to this marriage. After Fan Xian returned to the mansion, he saw Ruoro waiting for him in the house. He told Ruoro that the reason why he agreed to participate in the poetry party was to find someone he liked. Ruoro heard the romantic story between Fan Xian and the chicken leg girl. She was determined to help her brother find the right person. Fan Xian also fantasized that it would be fine if the chicken leg girl was Lin Wanner, but Ruoro thought it was impossible, because Lin Wanner had been ill since she was a child and fasted from eating meat and fish. Fan Xian also felt that the possibility was very small. Seeing that Ruoro envied him, he swore to help her marry someone he liked in the future. The two chatted for a long time, and then Ruoro just remembered the business. She told Fan Xian that Teng Zijing was detained by his father as soon as he returned to the house, and Fan Xishu was also punished to kneel at the door of the study room. Because Master Fan suspected that Fan Xishu colluded with the Crown Prince and set a trap to frame Fan Xian. Fan Xian immediately went to the study room to find his father. He thought that Fan Xishu was not such a scheming person. It was Fan Xian who was too harsh on him and had a prejudice in his heart. Fan Xian admitted that it was because Fan Xian failed again and again, and he felt disappointed at him several times. Fan Xian said again, Fan Xian has no bad hobbies, and his love for making money was actually because of his admiration for his father. When he was in the restaurant before, Fan Xian heard Guobaoquan insulting Fan's father, and immediately rushed forward to fight with him, indicating that he respected his father very much in his heart. Fan Xian said Father Fan should not be so unfair to Fan Xian. These words were all heard by the second lady, who was overheard at the door of the study room. She did not expect Fan Xian to speak for Fan Xian. Fan Xian was quite touched when he heard this. He went out and asked Fan Xian to stand up. Fan Xian was used to being punished by his father for a long time, and he had no complaints in his heart. Fan Xian saw this and proposed that he could agree to one of Fan Xian's requests. Fan Xian was very surprised to hear this, and the second lady was very relieved. Who would have thought that this unfortunate child would ask his father to play Pai Gao with him, which made people angry and funny.